Welcome to another episode of the Greater Culture Podcast as we continue our Meet the Member series. And today I'm excited to be joined by Jamie. Thanks so much for being on the podcast
Hey guys,
today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I know. And so I think it's been fun to get to know the members. And we were just chatting a little bit before going live of how much fun it is to see other people's stories and learn from them a little bit. And I know people are excited to learn a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from upstate New York. I've been down here since the 90s, so it kind of feels like home.
That's long enough, I think.
Yeah. My husband and my two kids and I, we live in Holly Springs. I could almost ride my bike to the gym, but it's on Highway 55, so we'll put
a little
safety,
dangerous.
Yeah, a little dangerous, right? So yeah, that's a little bit about me and where I live and how I came to CrossFit.
Yeah. And so what brought you down to North Carolina back in the 90s?
Originally my dad's job. Okay. So I finished high school down here. Mm-hmm. I went to NC State. So once we kind of all got settled, it was like, oh, this is home. Yeah. This feels nice.
Yeah. It's funny how that happened back in the 90s, and it feels like it's happening every day right now, where somebody from New York or the Northeast is moving down. Yeah. Nobody's from here, myself included. So that's how it operates. And so you went to NC State.
Yep.
What did you get to study at NC State?
Communication. I was on the extended plan. So I put myself through school. So I always had like some sort of job on the side, and then went back part-time. And then when I was ready to like amp up, okay, I want to be finished with this, I want my degree and I want to move on, then I went full-time in communication.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so transitioning out of college, what did the job and career field start to look like for you as you navigated that journey?
When I was at NC State, I went to cosmetology school in addition to NC State. So then when I got out of NC State, I was like, okay, do I want to continue my cosmetology background or do I want to move into communication? So I worked for the legislature for a little bit. That was not my journey. So it was great that I got my degree. I will always cherish my 9, 10, 11 years at NC State. But then I really went down the cosmetology road for a while.
Nice. So you were kind of like the original Van Wilder then, of just like being at school and living the life.
Yeah, I was definitely living the life. I enjoyed my time very much.
Exactly. That's what I think college is meant for.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not you learn anything, who knows? But at least you enjoyed it and you figured it out. And so cosmetology then. Yeah. So how was that process?
It was great. I felt like it was always something that I knew I could fall back on. And when I didn't enjoy using my degree, it was very obvious, okay, cosmetology will be my job, will be my career for a while. Yeah. And it was nice because I could work full-time, I could really establish my clientele. And then later on, when we knew we wanted to start a family, it's like, oh, I can take some time off, I could come back part-time. It's easy to pick up and put down. So I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, it does seem really flexible, and it's a very relationship-driven business where once you build your client list, you want to maintain those, it sounds like, and that's kind of what you experienced as well.
Yeah.
And so where along the way did you meet your husband then?
We played rugby, so it was throughout my NC State career time that I spent there that we both played for a club team, and that's how we initially met.
Did you play rugby growing up, or was that something you found later on?
I found at State.
At State.
Yep.
It's a really interesting sport because I feel like a lot of people find it later in life.
Yeah.
And from the outside looking in, it's like a very violent sport where you're like, how do people tackle each other without any protective equipment?
Yes.
But they do.
Yes. And we survive.
And it's actually
and women play it.
And it's actually safer than football is for the most part too.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Because if you don't have a helmet, you're a lot less likely to go head first into somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to take them out, so.
You don't want to injure yourself while tackling someone. So you're first protecting yourself, and then maybe the violence is coming a little bit more protected.
Yeah. So did you play any sports before going to State and finding rugby?
I dabbled in softball. I dabbled in volleyball. I dabbled in track. I couldn't really find my niche. And then once I found rugby, it was like rugby found me. It was like, this completely makes sense. This is what I want to do. This is my passion. Forget all of those other sports. It's rugby. Yeah. That's what got me into CrossFit, was rugby.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what was it about the sport of rugby that drew you in?
The camaraderie.
Was it?
Yeah. You really treat it as you're going out on the battlefield. So the relationship that you form with your teammates in the other sports that I've played, yes, we're always team centered, but then rugby really takes that like I am going into battle with these girls. I know that if something happens while we're on the pitch, they've got my back just as much as I've got their back.
Yeah. And the rugby that you played, was that sevens or what did you play?
I played both,
sevens
and 15s.
And 15s, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a phenomenal sport to watch. And if you love sports and athletics and teams and you start to dive into the New Zealanders and the Blacks, it's like unbelievable.
Yes, to see the Haka live, like tear inducing. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
it really makes you feel really kind of soft inside. You're like, wow, there are people that are intense to that level. What am I doing?
Yes. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Yes. And so throughout the process of getting into rugby, it sounds like health and fitness was something that you cared about. So talk to us a little bit about that. Did you primarily work out to be able to play rugby? And then as you transitioned to cosmetology, what did your health and fitness look like during those years?
Everything was always rugby centered. So my schedule at the salon was rugby centered. We had, when you're as part of a team, as many of you know, there's different people who bring their strengths to the table. And a lot of our teammates had some sort of CrossFit background. So it was very seamless for us. So it would be Monday nights, we're going to CrossFit as a team. Tuesday, we have practice. Wednesday, we'll do some cardio outside of the gym. Thursday, we've got practice. Friday, CrossFit. Saturday, game. Sunday, rest. As I got older, and as I continued to emphasize going so intense with rugby, there was a point where my body started breaking down. Burnout became a really big thing. So it was always, okay, how can I adapt my CrossFit to better fit my rugby? How can I change my work schedule to better fit rugby? It was very rugby centered. And then it sort of wasn't. And it was more like, oh, CrossFit's really fun. And I leave a different kind of sore from CrossFit. And it was gradual over time, but at some point it became very obvious. Rugby's no longer my passion. Tackling and being tackled several times a week is no longer my journey. So how can I still get those highs from rugby? It was just an automatic, it's CrossFit. CrossFit's going to take over rugby. And over time, it was like less and less rugby, more and more CrossFit. Less and less tackling, more and more CrossFit. And then I think now it's like, I'll play rugby when there's a big event and I can play with kind of my original team. We're all sort of in and out of the sport. So it's nice that I have that to fall back on when I do want to pick up that competitive side of myself.
Yeah. I love to hear that there's the seasons or the journeys that you can go on, because a lot of people come to CrossFit for different reasons and work on their health and their just overall fitness. Having something to work towards like rugby is a really nice goal of, hey, if I can be more fit, that helps me have more fun on the field. Sure. But then it's interesting how it can also shift and be like, oh, let me just do CrossFit for the sake of being healthy and fit and seeing what that looks like and how that can ebb and flow. I like that there's not always just one reason why like you jump into something, but it does sound like when you enjoy something or like it, like you're kind of an all-in type of person.
I dive in head first, don't check the water. When there's something that I really enjoy or become passionate about, it's like, oh, we're throwing caution to the wind, we're diving right in. Yeah.
And so talk to us then a little bit about how did the family life play into that? Because I think a lot of people have passions, sport, recreation, whatever they enjoy doing. But then when kids come along, things start to get really challenging. Yeah. And we've seen that here at the gym, and we have a lot of different families here. And so talk to us, how did you navigate that journey of working through pregnancy and then having kids and what that looked like?
At that stage in my life, as I said earlier, it was very much like, it's just going to be rugby. It's just going to be CrossFit. That's where I'm going to put like all of my passion, all of my intensity. It's going to be into that one sport. And then at some point, my husband and I were like, hey, we're ready to start a family. What's that going to look like? So for us, for me, it was more, I completely dropped rugby. I completely dropped CrossFit. And it was like, okay, right now, my role is being a mom. And I chose to drop all of those other things, a lot of those things that I felt like made me who I was, in order to take care of my young kids. I'm excited now, being a little bit older, knowing that I don't have to it can be more than one thing. It doesn't just have to be raising kids. It doesn't just have to be rugby. It doesn't have to be my career. I can pick up this part of me that makes me happy and still have kids and still have a job and still have some sort of career. That has been almost a full circle moment for me where, yeah, it was a priority for a long time to start my family, to watch my kids grow. And then when they are a little bit more independent, then I can pick up what I was passionate about.
Yeah, it is challenging because I think when family gets involved, a lot of times we have the mindset that's an either or, like it's either my career or my kids, it's my health or my kids. And working through that to have that mentality of it's a both and, like I can have a job and kids, I can have something I enjoy recreationally and kids or fitness, and figuring out how to make that all work. So how long was that journey for you of working through the identity of I'm just a mom and I just want to be here with my kids, till you were like, let me go start exploring getting back into the gym, getting back into doing things I love, maybe outside of just being a mom?
I think when our youngest was starting kindergarten, then I knew my kids are gone 8 hours of the day. They're in very capable hands. What do I want to pick back up that will make my identity kind of shine through again, where I'm not, I love the mom hat, right? I love putting that on, and it will always be one of my greatest gifts, one of my greatest achievements. But I also want to have things that I can show my kids, yeah, I am your mom, but also I'm so much more. I have so many other roles than just being your mom. So when my kids were both in school during the day, I decided to, okay, I want to start focusing on myself. One of the big changes for me, or one of the big like light bulb moments for me, is my son was playing soccer, and at the end of the season they had a parents versus kids game, and my husband and I were like, oh, this is going to be great, like we get to be on a competitive field, now we get to be on a competitive field with our kids, this is going to be amazing. But we hadn't had any of our fitness background. So the game starts, and within 5 minutes we're dead, right? We're like, oh my gosh, these young kids, right? These young kids are schooling us. This is terrible. How did we let our fitness go so long without incorporating that into our lives? So it was honestly at that game that I was like, okay, number one, I can't have my kids showing me up on a field, right? Number one. Number two, my kids are going to look at me, especially my daughter. My daughter's going to look at me and she's going to think, well, my mom is a mom, but also look at what she's doing. It might not be a conscious thing, but she will see, I prioritize lifting. I prioritize CrossFit. I prioritize some of these sports that maybe don't fit in a specific box. And that was really important for me to show her, hey, this is also what life can look like.
Yeah. It's amazing how we can have those moments where you're just like, wow, I didn't realize where I'm at compared to maybe where I was, especially as former athletes.
I mean, that like whatever activity my kids were doing, when they became a little bit older, it was definitely coaching whatever sport they were playing. So that helped. But for a long time, whatever activity they were doing, then I would try to incorporate, okay, well, my son's playing soccer, I can walk around the field. While my daughter is playing baseball, I can bring a jump rope, bring a wall ball. When I was heavy in carpool, I would put gym equipment in the back of my trunk, park in carpool, find a little bit of an inconspicuous spot, and then I do a little bit of a workout before I would pick my kids up.
Yeah, I think having the background of getting into CrossFit and being in that space for a while, that to have some understanding of this is what I can do for some workouts, it's helpful. But I think a lot of moms and dads experience that of like when they've got kids and work and everything else, like sometimes just getting a walk in is the extent of your physical fitness during that phase.
It was good in the sense that it wouldn't allow me to just, like, I can't just jump into fitness and throw caution to the wind with everything else. So it was helpful that it kind of retrained my thinking to think, okay, I can now be a mom. I can also get a run in. I can also do a CrossFit do a CrossFit workout in my gym. I can go to Planet Fitness and do some sort of CrossFit workout at Planet Fitness. It was helpful that it doesn't always have to be all or nothing. I feel like that's been the biggest takeaway. Seeing the age that my kids are now and my fitness level now, it doesn't all have to be one thing or the other. And I think that's been very positive for me.
Yeah, and I think helping folks understand that, one, it is a journey, and then two, it's going to look different at different phases. And it's not like you have to be all in or all out And I really like that perspective of just do what you can with where you are, whether it comes to the way you eat, the way you move, whatever it is, doing something's better than nothing.
Yeah. It took me years. It took me years to wrap my mind around, it's okay if I can only give a 20-minute workout today. It's okay that I haven't lifted anything for the past 2 weeks. All of these things are okay because I'm moving in the right direction. I really had to work hard on changing my framework to be accepting of myself in this new role.
Yeah. And that can take a lot of time, take a lot of energy and effort. And so the kids get old enough and you're like, hey, I kind of want to invest in getting back into CrossFit or some sort of, more fitness, if you will. And so what did that process or journey look like of you looking for gyms or trying to get back into the mix in that way?
I started with getting some equipment and working out in my garage. And that was great to put myself on a schedule where if my kids were napping or if my kids had a play date, that could give me an hour in the gym or an hour in the garage that I'd be able to work through. That worked really well for a while. And then I wanted some more intensity. So I joined a local Globo gym. And then I would incorporate what I could do in the gym. Fun fact, Planet Fitness doesn't like wall balls, so don't try that there. And then that worked well for a while, working at like just doing a CrossFit style workout at a Globo gym. And there was a big intimidation factor. Can I work out at a CrossFit gym and still see the successes that I saw so many years ago? Am I ready for that? And then this gym is close to my house, as I said earlier. So I reached out, tried the 7-day membership pass, and it was almost instant that when I was back in the gym, it was like, this is what I've been missing. I get the camaraderie that I love. I get the intensity that I love. I can self-motivate to a point, but when I see other members working really hard in the gym, it's like, okay, if this person can do this, to be sure I can. If I see this happening in the gym, I can pull motivation from those athletes, and then that can increase whatever I happen to be working on in the gym.
Yeah, I love the exploration of trying to figure out, what's going to work best with schedule, pricing, everything from Global Gym to other fitness at home, and then trying things out here. When you got back into the mix, having had experience with CrossFit, what did your mindset look like coming to classes at this stage of your life compared to maybe when you were in your younger years and still working to go to CrossFit?
Yeah, that was another really tough transition. When I first joined, I had all of my notebooks with every workout I ever did written down and how I was feeling and what my PRs were. I thought, I'm just going to open this book. And these numbers that I hit previous 2 kids 10, 15 years ago, they're all going to be there just waiting for me. And that wasn't the case. Yeah. It took me 6 months, maybe a year, to get comfortable with this is what CrossFit looks like for me. And I noticed that I put a lot of pressure on myself. This was nothing external. This was all internal. I have to hit these lifts. I'm not feeling like my endurance is there. Okay, let's redo a workout. Wow, didn't come anywhere near to that time. What does that look for me? I couldn't be an all or nothing. And I couldn't, Brad, thanks for having me join the gym. I'm not going to join anymore. I'm not going to be a member anymore because I can't hit my grace time, right? I knew it couldn't be an all or nothing anymore. So I had to change that mindset and my focus. And that's where I really relied on friends that I met in the gym, talking to coaches about my past, about my previous numbers, what that would look like now. How does CrossFit, how can I still get what I want out of CrossFit and leave feeling accomplished for myself? That was the big thing. I didn't want to walk out of the doors and be like, wow, great, that past hour just showed me that I put down CrossFit at the wrong time in my life, that I prioritized all these other things. So that was a long time coming that I was like, no, it's okay that these are the numbers that I'm pulling now. So that's been exciting to kind of work through again and to embrace, like, this is CrossFit in my 40s. And I'm happy about that. I like that.
Yeah, it's amazing how identity can shift over the years, mindset can shift over the years. And I think in CrossFit, as with any fitness, we love numbers. We love knowing how much we can lift, how fast we can go, because that's how we track, like, am I progressing? But when we look at it through the lens of it's over the course of a lifetime, it changes things. Like, what you can do at 25 is different than 35 and is different at 45. But are we still able to live the type of life we'd like outside the gym. And sometimes it means that the numbers aren't going to align for us the way we might like. And that's the beautiful thing about hitting new age thresholds. It's like, what's my new PR for 35 and then 40 and then 45. And you set yourself new benchmarks. And so what does consistency look like for you and sort of your routine that you feel good about and happy about now at this stage with the gym and with family and even with, having work and things like that? What does that look like for you now?
A lot of happiness. I thought that when I would come back to CrossFit, it would be like very type A. Let me accomplish this and check that off. Let me accomplish that and then check that off. And I've been able to kind of experience something a little bit different. Whereas like now when I leave, it's more of the total picture. I got a great lift in, I got a great cardio in, but also I was able to connect with friends at the gym. I was able to connect with coaches at the gym. So it's kind of more encompassing than just, okay, I've got to make this goal and then I've got to move on. I've been able to hit different benchmarks from slowing down, working on technique, not just putting my head through a wall and like, yep, I'm just going to throw this heavy weight up and that's going to be it. That's been, I think, more exciting is coming in and seeing now what can be accomplished when I just change just a couple of those mentality aspects and leave with a smile on my face. That's been exciting.
I love that. And I love hearing that. I think the outsider's perspective is CrossFit is intense, which it can be, and you're going to work hard. And if you're not laying on the floor after or barely able to breathe, and like it wasn't a good workout or it's not effective. But there's a lot of different ways CrossFit can look and feel. And the goal is just, can we improve our fitness over the long haul? And so to have that perspective of, I can leave with a smile on my face, feel like I'm getting stronger, feel like I'm getting better in certain movements and techniques, connect with people. Like there's a whole total fitness aspect to that other than just how hard did I work for whatever the workout was that day.
Yeah, good point.
And so when you start to think about the things that you enjoy most in CrossFit, if you see it programmed or something's coming up, what are the things that get you really excited when you get to come in and do here in the gym?
Always a heavy barbell, right? Any heavy barbell, any movement when it's a heavy barbell. I always shied away from anything gymnastics. But because of that shift in mindset where I've focused on my weaknesses, I focused on technique, my gymnastics has improved. So now when I see toes to bar programmed, it's not an immediate, oh, I'm not coming that day. When I see pull-ups on the menu, it's like, oh, wow, these are now things that I didn't have before that I can incorporate into my workout, and I get excited when I see those. So when I see some gymnastics movements, I love a good wall ball, love anything with a heavy kettlebell. Those are some of my favorite movements.
Yeah. And so I love that we've got the mindset shift, because usually we flip the question and say, like, what are the things that you really dread? So are there still some things that you dread when you come in, and what are those movements?
Oh, things that I dread. I don't have a handstand walk, right? Now that we've incorporated that into CrossFit. Thanks, CrossFit. Thanks, Dave Castro. That's not my favorite. Right now, that's the only thing that's coming to mind.
That's a fantastic place to be. Most folks are like burpees, running. It's like anything that's cardio, or because I think CrossFit has given people the ability to lift heavy weights and enjoy the barbell and being strong. So everybody loves that. And then it's like, hey, let's go do something cardio for 20 minutes.
400-meter run? What?
Like, get out of here with that stuff. Yeah. So I love to hear the journey that you've had as it's transitioned from different phases of your life to where you're at now. And when you think about people who are trying to figure out and navigate their health and fitness journey, whether it's, the folks who've got kids, the folks who are like, man, I'm not where I used to be. I'd like to be better than I am. What are maybe some things that you would say, whether encouragements or things to help people as they think about like, hey, I really want to get back into fitness, or I want to get healthy for my kids or for me? What would you say to somebody who's fighting that?
Great question. I think the first thing is always be kind to yourself. It's real easy for us to, I used to do this and I used to do that. And oh my gosh, I've made so many mistakes. I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that. I think the first step is just accepting where we are with a kind heart to ourselves, and then picking all of those things up, right? Like all of that. I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do that. Even the things that we think are mistakes. Oh, I shouldn't have taken so much time off. Pick up all of those things, because that's part of our identity now. and we're going to move forward. So do we need to set small attainable goals? Yeah, that's probably a great shift for us. Do we need to find a community that helps us? Find some moms that can help you in that. Find some walking that can help you. Can you repeat that question again for me?
Yeah, I think that advice is fantastic of figuring out, hey, how do I give myself grace?
Yeah.
Wherever I'm at in life, it's okay.
Yep.
I don't have to be somewhere else or further along than I am.
Yep.
And along the journey, let's find some people who can help support
Yes.
me. Let me figure out what it looks like that I enjoy doing, that I get excited to go do, and then folks who can support that, coaches, community, etc.
Yep.
Sounds like I love that advice, especially because CrossFit is for some, it might not be for all. There's all different types of fitness, and so figuring out what works best for you that helps you to live the life you want is really what we're after. And so we've obviously loved having you here at Greater Culture for the last year plus now, I'd say. When you think about what the journey and your experience has been like here, what sort of things would you share about being part of the community and being part of the folks here?
It's great to have a CrossFit community that you can surround yourself with. If you don't feel like going to the gym, someone in that circle is going to, hey, where are you? I haven't seen you. When we are in the CrossFit, start again. What was the question, Brad?
Yeah, what has it meant, or what has it been like being a part of the Greater Culture community for the last year? It's
been nice to have those friends that can pull you along when you're maybe not feeling like getting back in the gym. When you're back in the gym, but maybe you're dealing with an injury, right? It's helpful to have those coaches that can say, all right, still come. Instead of a handstand walk, let's do something else for you. The community has always been something that keeps me coming back to CrossFit. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have that motivation. It's nice to have that compassion. It's nice to have that knowledge where all of this doesn't fall on me. I don't have to program these things. I can rely on the professionals who have dedicated themselves to creating such a great atmosphere.
Yeah. And so find the community, find the group that integrates, find the coaches who can bring you along with wherever stage of your fitness journey you are. And that's going to help, one, have some sustainability, have some consistency, and potentially even help on some of those mindset and identity challenges that folks have.
Yeah.
So
I think sustainability, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, for me at this stage, it's like I'm living to fight another day, right? So I don't want to come in and I don't want to blow my shoulder out. I don't want to blow my knee out. Like, I still have to go home, take care of a family, and also show up for CrossFit for myself. That's been exciting.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, this has been awesome getting to know you even that much more, and love having you be part of the journey here and part of the community. So thanks so much for sharing a little bit more about your story, and thanks for being an awesome member here.
Great. Thanks for having me. All right.